Hi, everybody. This is John Burgos, and thank you for joining me on this evening's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. We're in for a super treat. Kelly Hampton is on the line with us, and she is going to take live questions, answer questions about what's coming up for 2014 through Archangel Michael. He's going to share so much again, and we're going to take live calls also. So everyone who's on the line, if you haven't called in, take this chance to call in while I do the intro. And to raise your hand, press *2, and raise your hand. We're going to be taking live questions. There's a lot of questions that have come in the webcast already also. So we're going to try to get through those just as quickly as we can so we can try to get to as many questions as possible. And there's so much that Kelly's going to share. It's just crazy. So she's going to talk to us about the keys for abundance. We're going to learn the new powerful 50 Ascension healing system that was given to Kelly by Archangel Michael in 2010 and the Star Healing Intergalactic Energy. And, I forgot to mention, this applies to small animals also, and there's something super funny coming up. I just cracked up when I read it. We're going to learn what Archangel Michael means by soul purpose and how knowing this is going to change your life. We're going to see powerful affirmations from Archangel Michael and the Ascended Masters. We're going to hear inner guidance from Ashtar, the Galactic Commander. I hope I pronounced that right, Kelly. To help you shift from the 4D hologram into the 5D of pure love. There's so much here. God, we're going to learn what a starseed is and how to tell if you're one. Archangel Michael is also going to teach us the golden dome for transforming any energy to wholeness, especially useful if you're an empath or picking up unwanted energies. We're going to get a symbol homework assignment. We're going to see one of the 3 sacred symbols used in star healing. Archangel Michael's white feather protection, and if you already have experienced that, it's actually going to be amplified. And again, we can just keep going on and on. This is the part that was so funny. We're also going to receive a direct intermediate cellular peace and calm from Star Healing Intergalactic Energy, which Kelly is the founder. And Kelly, I know this is from you or Archangel Michael, but it was so funny. Pets are welcome to join in the healing experience. The journey technique. Yes.
Well, it does sound kind of funny, doesn't it?
It is. Well, it goes further. The journey technique is imparting cellular peace and calm, and you decide on horses being present. So you can decide if your horse attends this as well. That just cracked me up. I thought that was so funny. But anyway,
appreciate that.
Yeah, there's just so much that we're going to learn on this call, so I'm not going to delay much longer. Let me tell you a little bit about Kelly, and let's just rock and roll with it. Now, through her Star Healing intergalactic seminars and retreats and audio series, Kelly elevates the human and planetary consciousness. She conducts private healings all over the world, as well as certifies practitioners in these magnified new healing systems given to her by Archangel Michael. She is the author of 2 books, Into the White Light, the Revelations of Archangel Michael. I'm tongue-tied today. I'm so excited about today's call. Excuse me. And 2012 and Beyond, The Truth from Archangel Michael, and her 3rd book, The Book of Animals, is coming soon. So with that, guys, today I want to welcome Kelly to the show. Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, John. Maybe I ought to drink some of your chocolate.
Yeah, I think I should, and it might slow me down a little bit.
Having me back, I'm looking through some notes, too. Maybe we could read a little bit of, just a little excerpt of the 3rd book, the Book of Animals. The first chapter actually is quite a bit of information. Michael sort of turned it over to Mother Earth, and, it is certainly part of our ascension discussion. But, whenever we get to that, we get to that.
Well, let's absolutely get to that here in just a little bit, but it's, there's so many questions that are coming in, and that's going to be super powerful because I know a lot of people are interested in that subject, Kelly. So, let's dive a little bit further into that as we go down the conversation, and bring it up whenever you feel is right, obviously. And I have a feeling some people have some questions about their pets as well, so that may be a great opportunity to bring that up. Kelly, what I want to start with you is, let's just go into 2014. What can Archangel Michael tell us about what to expect in 2014?
Well, I'd like to invoke him. If you don't know how this works, the invocation, the way I do the work is simply call his name. My voice isn't really going to change. It might get a little louder. It probably won't get any softer. So I'll learn something new myself. So let me just invoke him and see where this goes, okay? Michael, you heard what we're asking. How can you guide us about what are some of the things we need to know about 2014? Okay, this is what I'm starting to hear. He's saying, well, welcome friends and foe alike. I say that with all the love and compassion that I can in my heart, because there are still places in your planetary vibration where things such as angelic guidance, the words ascension, the words disclosure, the words of so many of these alien type thinking, and it's my hope and desire that when I touched on that word foe, that it becomes that we all become friends in the world. So I would like to share what my view and my hope is for your planet and your world, and then perhaps some of maybe the more realistic things too. In a way, I mean a very earthbound kind of thing, such as seismic activity here or there or something. Again, to be helpful and inspiring, not fear-inducing. It is my hope and desire that as more and more star seeds rise up from the soil, if you can imagine this, friends, that they burst open in a way, star seed. Many of you, if you've heard my teaching before, if you're coming to the first time, even the idea of saying the word star seed probably might shock waves through some of your body systems, but it's all well. It's all at peace. There's nothing that I can share through her today at any time that would be fear-inducing. The only thing you have to fear, as the saying goes, is fear itself. So as we talk about some of these conceptual things in our time here, it is my most loving and hopeful desire that when you hear words that you may not have been presented with before, that you extend your hearts and your minds to the openness and knowing that 2014 will be a year even more glorious than the year before, even more glorious than the year before, and so on and so forth. You may say, well, the angels always say those kinds of things, and I'd say, well, perhaps we do, perhaps we don't. But I myself wouldn't have said those kind of things 100 years ago. I can stand on a platform and proclaim that there will be less war, less famine, less hatred as this year unfolds, as the next year unfolds, as the next year unfolds, largely because of the influx of the number of star seeds. And the star seeds might be many of you that are listening. For simplicity's sake, anyone that feels as though they have a huge calling, or maybe it's just a little whisper right now, but a calling to spread peace, to spread love, to spread unity, to spread harmony. These are the star seeds. You yourself might look in the mirror and say, he was talking of me. He was speaking of me. So because so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of star seeds in God's infinite plan are now of an age where they can do the work, and this would include, by the way, even the youngest tender ears that may be listening, as young as the ages of 4, 5, 6, and 7, upwards to, let's say, 35. Those are the more highly frequency souls. But many of you, even in older age categories, say, what about me, Angel? I'm 67, and I want to spread unity. I want to help heal the planet. You're a star seed as well. It's a different type of star seed, but the important thing to remember before as we spend our time going over some of these concepts, some of you know them so intrinsically it's like taking a yawn and, can we move on? When we say things like intergalactic stellar expansion, please, can we move on? Others of you may still be rooted in a place of confusion, disbelief, and a great many of you are somewhere in the middle. So part of what will occur this year is a furthering expansion of the knowledge of truth. What type of truth? The truth, one of the truths, there are multiple truths, but one of the truths that will be revealed in this year, in the year you speak, is he mentioned the word disclosure. And so elements of disclosure have been building in the years leading up to now, but 2014 will be a pivotal year, you might say, in the planetary consciousness because more and more souls are going to become aware that life does exist in other galaxies, always has, and that not only does it exist, but there'll be visitations. I probably will let my friend, the commander, speak a little later if that's what's the desired format here. But so awareness, openness. I myself would be calling each and every one of you to have an open thinking. That's all I can call you to do. Ask you to have open thinking, fearless thinking. So anytime a new concept is presented to the mind has two choices. Some minds, the way the soul cords are arranged, are going to go into fuller expansion and want to analyze, find it insatiably, like explorers. There are some that just want to ride in the river, and there are others that want to find the source of the river. It makes no difference to us, the collective consciousness of angels and many of the holy masters I stand in front of here, whether you're riding in the river, of what discovery, or you want to seek the source of the river. So I would say also, as 2014 unfolds, many of you, when I'm speaking in parable form about seeking the source of the river, many of you will be coming to a greater knowingness about where your source is. And of course, the source of all the creator, whatever you call the creator, but I also mean an element of the source of your soul home. Many of you, as 2014 unfolds, are going to be receiving more and more information. We could use the word telepathic, but that word even itself is losing vibration. Just as I shared with her, certain healing systems are losing their vibration because they are not rooted enough in the here and now. So the word telepathy, for those of you that may be curiously minded, is a word that I myself am not going to be using very much in the future because everyone is going to be more and more connected. So as I say this, I also feel it's very useful not to become discouraged. If you are listening and your more knowingness doesn't take the form of someone else's. I didn't say that. It's important that you continue in this year to nurture yourselves, to be the loving, holy beings that the spark within you was intended to be. So if your neighbor, my friend, happens to channel Swahili, Arcturian, Lemurian, and all of the others, all intertwined, and you're just happy to be seeing an aura, give grace to one another, pat one another on the back. And for those that don't have that knowingness quite yet in the year, as I say, there is going to be more and more an opening of the grid. We could talk about that in a moment, but suffice it to say, this year is going to be reaching another plateau, and one of the plateaus is greater knowing. By the end of this year, if I could make another statement, I would say to you that 9 out of 10 people will have some semblance of seeing or speaking somehow. Again, here's the word telepathy that's going to be leaving my vocabulary. Their spirit guides, their guardian angels. 9 out of 10. If you had asked me what the number might have been 5 years ago, it might have been 2 out of 10, if that helps create the model in your mind about the rising frequency of the planet and within each and every one of you. And so as more and more of you that may be starseeds, maybe you're not, maybe you're just doing your work as caring and loving humankind, being and listening to the vibration, being in the company of teachers of all types, you're picking up that auric imprint. And so you, in your own way, if this happens to be you, you're carrying forth an important part in the evolution of mankind's spiritual, emotional, and physical development.
Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. And it's so interesting, Michael and Kelly, that the people that are drawn to Beyond the Ordinary, to the radio show that you do, Kelly, they really are ready for that next phase and knowing that understanding of what's coming up and that integration of the energy, Michael, that you talk about. So I love that you mentioned that, and I love that the people that are showing up for Beyond the Ordinary and for shows like this, intrinsically, you guys know that you are part of this star seed system, that you're an integral part of it, and every little thing that you do to raise your vibration towards that not only helps you and the people around you, but like I say over and over again, it helps the whole world. So, again, it's beautiful. Now, Michael, what would you say, how can people start integrating more of this energy and start attuning to it in a better fashion?
He says, you've given me a question that stumps me temporarily. It's a bit like saying, Angel, tell me which is the freshest, most beautiful flower in the garden. And you're in and you're in an entire garden. So in no particular order, I proclaim myself quite often as a literal guide, and then the presumption is people take me for my literacy. But I do very much honor what you're asking, and I would say in this garden of flowers, there isn't one magical path that's the same for everyone. In fact, I say the only sort of magical or golden flower in the whole garden, of course, is the frequency of love. So many times souls feel as though they know it. So many times souls feel as though they've experienced. So many times souls feel as though they have more to give than what they are giving. And so one of the ways that universally any man, woman, and child, plant or animal that has a living organism, breathing cell within it, can procreate this energy more quickly and widely is to speak words of love, demonstrate love. Let's stop, if I may, about this idea about speaking words of love, because we know these things. Your minds know these things. It's a good refresher, I think, and thank you for letting me go there. But every syllable that comes out of the human mouth, no matter what language it is, it all carries a frequency. And so if for some of you that are not feeling quite so enlightened, for some of you that are not feeling quite so loved or quite so connected quite yet, I say to you, be aware of the words you say. They carry power. They always will. They always have. I might like to say, too, so I don't get too far off topic here, but there will be new languages coming to your planet. They already are. They're called light languages. And so I guess I would honor each and every one of you that when you hear, again, new concepts that seem very strange or foreign about light languages or coding or these types of things, that those systems that are here and will continue to come, they have tone and frequency of a very high level. 33rd dimension, 34th dimension, 35th dimension, and so on. So back down to you and Earth now in a way. They're not disconnected, but bringing me back into the moment about speaking words of love. Forgiving of oneself. If you in a fit of frustration, the words that fall outside the resonance of love usher your lips. Be kind and loving to yourselves. The first place that everything begins is with oneself. So we talked about a little about you being in company with others, but in answering your direct question about what ways can you help us, Angel, in this flower garden of these beautiful flowers of connectedness, ascension, and oneness, it's first of all loving oneself. So I'd like to move to the homework assignment, if I may now, because this is the one I had intended to give. And the homework Thank you. And the homework assignment that I would like to share with everyone is simply this. I would be asking each and every one of your hearts and minds and ears that are listening for the next 30 days to be mindful, probably with a list, because I call a lot of assignments through her homework because normally it involves a linear list. It helps the mind generally check it off. Oh, I've done it. It helps you, stay focused, some of you, and so on. So very much visualize what I'm saying with all seriousness, that homework of this type is the highest caliber of healing that will raise your vibration and raise the planet. And so this is one homework assignment. There could be 300 I might give, but let's just do this one. I'd be happy to share what I'd like each and every one of you to consider doing, and that is keep a journal for 30 days. What I'd be asking you to write in the journal, if it's helpful to say day 1, day 2, construct it however you want, but I'd be asking you to be pretty faithful to it. On any day that you don't make the journal entry, of which I'll share in just a moment, be kind and loving. You can do like some school children and piggyback and double up and make up what you've missed, but don't become more anxious over this. In other words, go with the flow of life, with your breath. Honor yourselves. Oh, that day got by me. I'm gonna get involved in it today. So with that understanding, the homework assignment is this. First of all, I'd be asking each and every one of you to make a list of the 10 top loving things that you did for yourself that day. Okay? 10. No more, no less. Try for 10. Everything has meaning. So what I'd say to you, there's purpose in this, because if you find that you make the list and you've only done 2 things, ideally, you do the list before midnight or whenever your bedtime is, because the goal here, the homework assignment, is to fill those 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10 before your eyes hit the pillow at the end of the day. So that's the homework assignment. 10 things every day that you can jot down and testify to that you've done in some form or fashion about loving yourself. It could simply be thoughts that you've created. Oh, at lunchtime, I said a loving, I loved and appreciated the way I looked in the mirror. At lunchtime, I told the boy how much I loved him, because any expression of love reflects the love you have within you, and you could count that. It would be very appropriate. So if you feel as though it's loving and demonstrating loving of yourself, that you made some time to read your favorite book, I hope I'm being clear, then you would write that down as well. I'd like 10 things, as I say, and your goal, if you fall short, is to complete them so that every day for 30 days you have a list of 10 things that you can testify to.
That's a great assignment. And Michael and Kelly, I found it really interesting because I actually notice people doing a lot of loving, kind acts, but they don't acknowledge themselves for it. They don't realize that it truly is an act of love, an act of kindness. They just think it's a daily occurrence, and it just astonishes me the lack of awareness that we have towards our own kindness that we give to others sometimes.
He's saying you speak like a true leader.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's the truth, and I see it on a continuous basis. And again, for you guys listening out there, really acknowledge, I love this assignment, absolutely love it, because it increases the resonance and then actually strengthens it. It's like going to the gym and exercising that muscle. The more that you do it, the more that you self-acknowledge it as well, the stronger that it becomes, and the more that it becomes part of your personality, your compassion, and you start to project it outwards into the world, and then you start vibrating it back in, because what you put out is what you get back. So that's a fantastic exercise. Thank you, Michael.
And then I would say, my friends, after 30 days, do it another 30. And then after that, another 30, and then another 30, you see? So the word telepathy, you don't need to be telepathic, okay? It's a dream, it's a wish, it's a reality for many of you. But you see, when I spoke about a moment ago, you can either ride in the river or you can find the source of the river. The homework here is the source of the river.
I love that. That's phenomenal. Well, Kelly and Michael, can you also describe, I want people to really understand, those who may be new to your program, who haven't listened to you before, I'd love for them to get a little bit of understanding about the Star Healing Intergalactic Energy, and also what conditions you've seen it improve in the people that have worked with it. Because, again, I want them to get a foundation as we continue the conversation so that we can be even more aware of what's in store for us.
All right. Well, thank you. I can speak to that.
Oh, great.
It is a system. It's a family of systems now. So Star Healing Intergalactic Energy for people, Star Healing for small animals, and Star Healing for horses. Those are the 3 healing systems that Michael gave me. The first one, this is the 4th year for Star Healing Intergalactic Energy since its inception. And It is a system that is non-invasive. We don't touch anyone. It carries the capability of doing a great many things. And so on one hand, there are many people that have physical conditions made more well. There are people that come to Star Healing to experience, I don't know if high level is the word, but conceptually kind of deep things like key codes, go through stargates, be connected to the diamond grid and the Merkaba, receive or be connected to the tree of life. Some individuals time travel. And the importance of time traveling, another non-fear-based word, is to go to those multiple places, as Michael said. What's the purpose? Because I asked them. Sometimes we put a Nautilus shell that represents all the multi-dimensions on a person when they advance in the system, and it allows some souls to do that. So the purpose is, why am I doing this? Because when a person, if they choose and are ready to time travel, you do it for the purpose of love. You do it to go back or forward or multi-dimensional directions at once, to change an outcome, and change it back toward the frequencies of love. So that conceptually are things that can occur. More simply, Michael would say, just tell them we're cleaning out their closet. And so when the toxins are on us and we return a person's body to their more crystalline, natural state, that's why you know, or you may even have crystalline children in your family. They're pure love. They came in without DNA. So many things occur in Star Healing. There's 3 sacred symbols. We use sound. The Tingsha's, the Palladians largely are responsible for doing all the cellular repair for any and all cells in the human body, in the system. We pull forth the wisdom of the 5th dimensional consciousness from Atlantis. And so, again, because we can speak and share with one another in this system, I listen to what people share with me. You would understand why I'm doing something. That's what Michael said he wanted 4 years ago this month. Silent form of healing is leaving the planet. First he said all healing is good, so we're all good with that. But the idea of speaking and sharing makes us equal, and this is part of ascension. It's not a linear world anymore. It's one that goes out in rings. So some people do come just to get greater knowledge.